But I got to tell the Olam a Meiser Shahoya before we start. Two Meisers actually, two Meisers before we begin. Very important Meiser. Meiser number one. I was walking up the staircase in my old building actually on a Shabbos morning after davening one time, and I'm walking with a guy and we're schmoozing a bissel. I don't get to see the neighbors too often, but this was one of the times you see the neighbors in the staircase, as you're walking up. And he says to me, it was just after, this was years back, it was just after I came out with the Kashrus in the kitchen, and he knew that I came out with a book on Kashrus, whatever. So he says to me, I don't have any shilas in the kitchen. I don't have any kashrus shilas. I said, really? Wow. What is it? They have like a separate kitchen for milchiks, a separate for fleischiks, one for Pesach and one for the neighbors. Like, how does it work? How do you not have any shilas of kitchen shilas? A bus of a cholav, a yeridea, tvilas kenim, a golos kenim, epis, something. It's not shayach that you don't have these shilas. He says to me, any shilah that we have, we throw in the garbage. That's it. The food, the pot, the pan, the cutlery, the spoon, the knife, it's all gone in the garbage. I don't want to have any of these shilas. I don't understand. I don't know who to ask. I don't know what to do. So I don't understand. Most of the shilas that you're going to have in your kitchen, most, not all, are a shilah of a d'Rabbanan. Now, I'm not saying a d'Rabbanan is not choshev, a d'Rabbanan is woof, but it's a d'Rabbanan. Bal Tashkis is a shilah of a d'Oraisa. You can't just throw things out. That's number one. Number two, you're looking like a real Amoritz in front of your wife that you don't even want to ask your shilah, never mind know the shilah, and you're supposed to be in koilel as well, but that's a different shmooze. Not for now, right? Okay. Al Kaponim, that's shilah number one. That was case number one. Case number two, an email came in from a lady in Hernof. An elderly lady said she has not tasted chicken or meat for 30 years. 30 years, no chicken and meat. I said, what's pshat? Like vegetarian, like are you allergic? What you don't, maybe you just don't like it? Like what happened? So she said, very simple. No, very simple. 30 years ago, we asked a shayla about a chicken, for whatever it was. I don't know exactly what the shayla was, that's irrelevant. And the rabbi told us, chuck it in the garbage. Since then, I said, that's it. I'm not buying chicken, I'm not buying meat, I'm not getting into these shaylas, I'm not getting involved. It's unbelievable. It's poshut unbelievable. Maskim, right? What do you, just because you don't know, you don't end up doing things that you're supposed to do. Shimon saying it's halacha, right? Shayla, yeah. Bas of Adagim, Shabbos, Yom Tov, Lag Ba'imeh, Akaponim. Oh, why are we doing this now? What are we talking about this now? Be'ez Hashem, the Yom Tov of Shavuos Haba Aleinu L'Toiva is coming in 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks, Be'ez Hashem. And one of the shilas that I always like to do a little bit of a refresher course every year before Shavuos is the halachas of Yeridea. Shilas in the kitchen. Number one, these are important shilas. I remember once I was by Reb Chaim Kanievsky Zatzal, and I asked him many shilas. As I did, I asked him many shilas. I was in the back of the sefer, Kashrus in the kitchen, to have shilas. You look them up. You have shilas from Reb Chaim Kanievsky, the letters that I wrote him, and the answers that he wrote to me back. It was amazing, by the way. Great feeling when you open up the mail and you get a letter from Reb Chaim Kanievsky. It's mamish moedik, mamish amazing. I still have all the tshuvas, all the answers that he gave me. Still have them all, the letters and the stamp. Beautiful. Anyway, Akaponim, what's that? He writes like exactly. I got sometimes a whole sentence. One time I asked him a shayla, and his answer, this was the best answer he ever gave me. When you and B'nai Brak come into me. I mean, that's like an instant pass to get in. You only go to Yankee at the door and you say, look, I have a letter from the rabbi, I can just go straight in. Baruch Hashem. Anyway, so I asked him Chaim Kanievsky Zatzal, I said, people are always scared of Basa V'Cholov, and I teach in yeshivas and different yeshivas at the time, running from place to place. Is Basa V'Cholov something I should be teaching? He said, 100%. Absolutely, you should be teaching it. Bachrim need to know this. Right now, we generally spend a lot of our time learning Hilchos Shabbos, and we do, and we should. Well, you guys are learning Hilchos Shabbos in the morning also. So I figured we could take a few days and learn some of the Yesodas, the real shilas of Basa V'Cholov. Maybe if we have time, we'll go into some other Kashrus shilas as well. Maybe we'll talk about different things as well. If we have time, we'll see. If the Olam are interested, let me know. We'll continue in different inyanim of Kashrus. But I think it's important just to get the Yesodas, the foundations of Basa V'Cholov, an idea, especially Shavuos. Shavuos is a time where people sometimes have milchik sudas, milchik kiddush. They have to split the suda in two different things. What do you do with the hot plate? It's normally used for fleischik. Now they're going to use for milchik. What do you do with the oven? You're making cheesecake. It's normally a fleischik oven. I want to make cheesecake in it. Challahs, all the shilas that could come in, which I think are important for us to really understand what are some of the ideas. We're not going to go through all of the halachot, because it's impossible to go through everything, but as much as we possibly can, Be'ez Hashem, we're going to try. There's a Maisa brought down in the Egeres Hayavitz. The Egeres Hayavitz brings down the following Maisa. There were two Yidden on a boat, and they were traveling for business. And for whatever reason, they had to stop in a certain place, a place that there was no Yidden, there was no, it was terrible. And they had no choice, but they did not want to, due to the situation of the Spanish Inquisition at the time, they didn't want to reveal their Jewish identity. So they decided to split up. Reuven's going to go to that house, Shimon's going to go to that house, and 2-3 days the boat's going to continue sailing to their final destination. They'll meet in the boat, they'll meet by the port in 3 days' time. So they go to their, each one goes to their house, Reuven over there, Shimon over there. They go to the house, they spend 3 days. Again, they cannot say that they're Jewish. It's a very dangerous time for Jews to be revealed and to be publicly, practicing their religion. So they couldn't mention that they're Jewish. So each one go to their home. They come, they meet in the port 3 days later where the boat is about to sail to their final destination for their business, whatever they're doing. And they meet in the boat and they discuss their, they discussed the last 3 days. How did it go? What happened? What your experiences were? Obviously, they tried not to eat anything that they knew would be problematic because they were makpid, or they tried to be. So Reuven said, "Listen, Shimon, you'll never guess. It's amazing. About 10 minutes after I get to my host's house, I knocked on a random guy's house, whatever. I got to my house. He says to me, I want to tell you something. I know that you're Jewish." I got a shock. Like, what is he going to do? He's going to report me to the KGB. Like, what's going to happen? No, he said, don't worry. I'm also Jewish. I'm also a secret practicing Jew. Everything you're eating in this home is going to be kosher. You have nothing to worry about. You see, you cannot imagine, Shimon, he said to him, you cannot imagine my happiness, my simcha, that I'm able to eat kosher. This is beautiful. Shimon says to Reuven, that's amazing. I had mamish the opposite experience. And mamish had the opposite experience. It didn't make any sense. I went there, the guy tried to serve me chazay, tried to serve me, I tried whatever I could do. It was so hard, I have no idea what he put into the other food. Maybe he put in some, oil and zachen from Trey for zachen. I had no choice, it was terrible. He was so upset. How is it that his friend Reuven was so lucky? Everything's hashgacha pratis, but how is it that he ended up in a kosher home, Jewish home, and I ended up in some goy, Shimon said. So Shimon, when he came back from the business trip, went to visit his rabbi, and he said, Rabbi, why is it that Reuven managed and I didn't manage? What's the pshat? So the rabbi told him a very important yesod, and that is, and we find this many, many times in Chazal, that when a person tries to do something, the Rabbeinu Shalom gives him the siyata d'shmaya to be able to do that. Reuven was a yid that was so makbid on Kashrus, that wherever he went, wherever he did, he was always making sure that the hachsha was good, and this was good, and they knew the halachas, and this, that, and the other. Mimela, when he got to a place that he was not in his control, the Rabbeinu made sure that he got a kosher place. Shimon, on the other hand, a little bit more makel, Hebrew letters, there's a guy with a beard eating over there, it must be okay. And he was makel and he used to eat in different places that were, not so good. So Mamela, when the situation came beyond his control, the Rabban said, well, you don't care, so why should I? The Maisa, a person has to realize, when a person eats in the wrong way, and he eats things that are not kosher, or things that are not, 100%, or he doesn't know that Allah is a basa v'cholav, and things can happen, there's a shaila of timtum halev. Timtum halev means that it's actually putting a spiritual layer upon your heart. And a person's heart could be blocked, literally, layer upon layer upon layer, that's covering the heart so much so that when he comes to davening and he comes to learning, he complains, says, Rebbe, I can't learn. I don't enjoy it. This Tosfos doesn't speak to me. I don't enjoy learning. I don't enjoy davening. I get nothing from it. It's boring. What's the point? You know what the pshat is? The pshat is avad his neshama wants it, his heart wants it. But it's covered with layers and layers and layers of timtum alev from all the things that he's eaten. And when a person eats in the wrong way and he's not careful what he eats, who knows what's going to happen? Tosfos and Baba Kama famously says, before a person davens, that Torah goes in, he should daven that the right food and everything that goes over there goes in as well. There's a moedik tshuva of the Heilige Chassam Sofer. The Chassam Sofer says a moedik zach. So the Heilige Chassam Sofer. Somebody came to the Chassam Sofer with a shaila. What was the shaila? That child, Rahman Litzlan Laleinu Aleichem, was very, very sick. In a very, very bad way, not so much physically, more mentally. And there was a certain institution which could take this child and hopefully deal with the child to live a very normal, functional life. And the Heilige Chassam Sofer was asked the shaila. Are they allowed to take the child to this institution when they serve treif there and there's nothing you can do about it? Meaning you have to put the child there, there's no way of giving the child food, he's going to eat treif. But Lamaisa, at the end of the day, he's not going to live a normal life if you don't put him in the institution, so what do I do? So the Heilige Chassam Sofer. Halacha Lamaisa, it's mutter. Halacha Lamaisa, you can put the child in the institution, it's fine. But just know that it won't make a difference. You know why? Because the timtum halev that he's going to have from the things that he eats is going to, so to speak, counteract all of the good that they do in that institution. And that's how careful a person has to be, to make sure what goes into his mouth. There's so many stories of tzaddikim. I remember a story from the Chidush HaRim. when the Chiddushei HaRim was one time going to take a little ladle, a spoon of soup, and he put it down. Then he tried again, Nochamol, put it down. Tried a third time. No, not happening. The Gaboyim, like, what, Rebbe, is everything okay? You normally eat the soup, you eat the soup. What's pshat? There's something going on. You want to check in the kitchen? Gaboyim went into the kitchen, they made a whole chakiv in the Jewish, the ganze Zach. They found out there was a problem, and by mistake someone had done something to the soup that wasn't right. It wasn't kosher. But the Rebbe chapped it. How did the Rebbe chap it? Why? He said, Novi, wow. It's not a Novi. He said, simple. I'm so makbid, what goes into my mouth is kosher and right, that the Rebbe is not going to cause me to stumble. And that's why a person has to be ultra careful. When you eat things, we all eat things, we go out to eat sometimes, we buy food, to make sure that what we eat and what goes on in our kitchens, Be'ez Hashem, when you guys get married and you set up your kitchen, to make sure it's done in the right way. And we'll end with one last hakdama. Why we're doing this specifically now, even though it's a great opportunity to do it, but also before Shavuos. There's also a modige Chassam Sofer in Parashat Vayera. The Chassam Sofer says a gewaldige Zach. The Chassam Sofer says that when Moshe Rabbeinu went up to Har Sinai to makabel the Torah, to bring down the Torah for Klal Yisrael, Har Sinai, Kabbalah, Torah, Shavuos, moedig. So what happened? The Malachim said, no, I'm not giving it to you. Come on, Shabbos goes by Riches. Medrash talks about it also. The Malachim said, I'm not giving this Torah to this human being over here. They did the Egel Azov. They're not right to have the Torah. They didn't keep the Torah. They did Avodah Zarah, Egel Azov. Why should we give them the Torah? Moshe says, it's a good taina. Moshe, what do you have to say for that? Moshe Rabbeinu answers back, hold on a minute. You Malachim, I have a taina on you. What happened? You guys came down to visit Avraham Avinu. Right? Pikachaylim, beautiful mitzvah. Wow, it's a very important chasna, Rebbe, that I have to go to. It's a mitzvah chasna in the middle of Tel Aviv. Mamish, they're waiting for me. Without me going to this chasna, you have no idea what's going to happen. It's such a mitzvah important to go. I have to go. You ever heard these excuses? You ever heard this before? It's a mitzvah for me to go to such a thing. You know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a mitzvah for me to go, right? So the Malachim come down and they say, Avraham Avinu, Pikachaylim, Brismila, beautiful. Excuse me, the Torah says very clearly what you guys ate when you went to visit Avraham Avinu. Okay? You guys ate basa v'chalav. Okay? We'll go into the details in Mitzvah Shem when we discuss the Gzeirus Rabbanan, exactly what they eat, in which order. We'll talk about that. But you guys ate basa v'chalav. Why? The Gemara Bamitzia says that Avraham Avinu had to shecht what? 3 cows in order to get 3 tongues, because they wanted to have tongue with mustard. Also state, they wanted to have 3 tongues of mustard. Steak wasn't good enough. T-bone surprise steak wasn't good enough. They needed to have tongue, and each one a whole tongue with mustard. Okay? But then the Torah says they had butter. Well, as far as I know, that's a little bit of a problem. So Avraham Avinu, alright, that's what happened over there. Zuk Moshe Rabbeinu, you guys, you Malachim, you didn't keep the Torah when you came down over here, right? I in the Kiddush Yaakov, the Stipler goes through by Rich is exactly how this works. We're not going to go through the Mamakamis. But the point is, so the Heilige Chassam Sofer, that the whole Kabbalah Sator, because the Rabbeinu Shalom was maskim. The Rabbeinu Shalom says, you know what, Moshe Rabbeinu, he's right. You Malachim also broke the Torah. Give the Torah to Moshe Rabbeinu. So the Heilige Chassam Sofer, the ganze Kabbalah Sator, that we celebrate and that we enjoy every day of our lives, and specifically on Shavuos, is because of what? Because of Hilchos Basa V'Chalav. So what better time is there to learn and be mechazik and do chazara on Basa V'Chalav at a time where according to Chassam Sofer, we got the Torah because of the halachas of Basa V'Chalav. So that is what's going on over here. Be'ezus Hashem, we're going to go through a little bit of a hakdama, a little bit of a chazara to understand. There is a Ben Ish Chai. One second, there is a Ben Ish Chai. I don't know exactly what he says, because I don't remember, it's been a few years, but the Ben Ish Chai writes that there was he brings a maisa of a Yid that wanted to become a Muslim, and he tried very much to convert, and his friends tried to convince him otherwise. So the Ben Ish Chai brings the maisa that they brought him to the local Chacham, and the Chacham said to him, what's the egg in the chamin? Is there a name for that? The egg in the chamin.
Chaminada.
Is that what it is? That could be what it is. I think, is that true? I think, Levi, wow, that's gewaldig. What do you say it is? Chaminada. Chaminada. You're right, the Ben Ish Chai brings that down. The Ben Ish Chai said that the friend said to him, the Chacham said to him, excuse me, what's going to be with Chaminadim? And he said, you're right. And he decided, that's it. I'm not becoming a Muslim. He remained a Yid. Zuk the Ben Ish Chai, the power of food. The power of food, to realize what it could do to bring some of the stories of people that years after the Holocaust, they went to a place and they smelled a good cholent. Smells like a good heilige cholent, right? And they hadn't smelled that smell for years before in their old parents' home, and suddenly all the memories came back and everything came back, and they said, that's it, we want to do this again, we want to live a life of that. All the memories start flooding back. Food, Rabbi Sai, has a very, very big part in our lives. In Mitzvah Hashem, next year we'll be discussing, we've gone through the Hagdama to understand why we're doing this, but Ezra Hashem, next year we're going to go through why is Basar B'chalav Asa and how it works. Have a wonderful day.